Poor hip rotation could be destroying your knees without you even knowing about it. But the good news is there are 3 simple exercises that can fix the problem, and I'm going to show you exactly what they are in today's video. Poor hip rotation can significantly affect the health of your knees because of how closely related your hips and your knees are. Here's exactly how that relationship works. Poor hip rotation leads to altered biomechanics of your knee. Your hip is a ball and socket joint which is meant to rotate, but if you lose that rotation, then when you plant your foot on the floor and the hip can't rotate, some of that rotation has to happen at the knee, which is only built to go forward and back. So that can leave you at a high risk of ligament and meniscus injuries. The other problem is that if you have poor hip rotation, it can lead to something called dynamic valgus, which is where your knee falls inwards like this when you walk or climb stairs or when you squat. Again, that's been associated with a buildup of pressure on the inside of the knee and a higher risk of injury. A combination of disuse and possibly hip arthritis can lead to a loss of crucial hip rotation over time. Now, to regain it, we need to work on both your mobility and your strength with those vital hip rotation movements. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that now. But before I do, I just need to make you aware these exercises are not going to be suitable for everyone. Please do get checked out by your doctor before you try them. And if they cause you any pain, just avoid them. So the first exercise we're going to do to regain your hip rotation is something I like to call the hip fan or hip windscreen wipers. It's a really nice exercise. All you need for this is somewhere you can sit your back up against and have your legs out in front of you. Your sofa or your bed works super well. So what we're going to do first is bend your knees just about 90 degrees. So you've got a small bend in those knees like this, and the movement is very simple. You can take support with your hands if needed. All you're going to do is just let both of your legs fall over to one side. Now, as you go this way, what you'll notice is this leg has dropped down into what we call external rotation, and this leg has dropped into what we call internal rotation. Just hold for a second, and then we're going to go the other way, just like windscreen wipers or just like a fan would. All right, so we're going to go this one down into external, this one down into internal, and then we go back the other way. So down this way, external on the left, internal on the right, and then down the other way as well. So now it's external on the right, internal on the left. And basically you just alternate between these two movements. And I would recommend doing about 20, maybe even 30 in total over the space of about a minute, maybe 2 minutes. Have a break, do a couple of sets of those, but this works particularly well if you come back to it several times per day. Now, if this exercise is too difficult for you, then I'm going to show you an alternative for people who can't quite do this position. If you struggled with that, then here's an alternative for you. It's external and internal rotation on a chair. It's much easier to do and just about anyone can do it. So sit on a comfy chair at home. You can lean back if that helps you feel more comfortable, and just lift the leg to be worked and then rotate the leg first like this, which is external rotation because the thigh is turning outwards, and then go back into internal rotation, which is like this, where the shin bone goes outwards and the thigh bone turns inwards. Rotate back to external. So rotating like this, hold for a second, and then go back to internal. Now, you might feel that you don't have very much movement available to you when you do this, but that's totally fine. Even if you're only getting a few inches into internal and then external, that is absolutely okay. And even if you gain just a few millimeters over time, it's going to make a massive difference. I would recommend doing 30 in each direction on each leg. Twice a day would work really, really well. And that's going to help you improve your mobility. As a side note, if you want to learn some of my best workouts to help you gain hip mobility over time, I've got tons of them in my lifelong mobility program. You can see a link for that below this video. The next exercise we're going to do to help you regain that hip rotation is the clamp. And the clamp is one of the king exercises for hip rotation strength, And I'm going to show you 2 variations today. So for this exercise, you just need your bed. You're going to lie down on your side with the side to be worked on top. You can rest your head either on your hand like this or on the pillow, whichever you prefer. And you want to bring your hips up to almost 90 degrees and your knees to about 90 degrees as well. Now, to set yourself up properly, I want you to take your top hand, put it over like this, and then just roll your body a bit further forward into your hand than feels natural. So this is your starting position. You're going to keep your heels together. You're going to keep your pelvis exactly where it is. And then you're just going to lift that top knee up towards the ceiling like that. So that is what we call external rotation. And then we're going to put your leg back down. Now, what I'd recommend you do is work somewhere between 10 and 20 repetitions of this in a row. If you find it hard to get to 20 doing this, stick with this variation, okay? But if you find it super easy, you can do 20 of these with no problem. You're not rolling back, nothing's happening to cause you to cheat. Then you're going to need this next variation, which I'll show you now. So for this variation, same position, you're going to lift that leg up in the air. When you get to the top, your knee is now going to act like your pivot point, and you're now going to lift your foot up in the air. So you're going to rotate like that, then rotate down with the foot and then down with the knee. Simple as that. So we're going to go up again, up with the knee. Then we switch. We go into internal rotation and then lift the leg and then put the foot down and then go down with the knee. So it's a 2-stage advanced climb. Up again, rotate inwards, lift the leg, and then pop the foot back down and then down. Again, 10 to 20 in a row. Have a break. You can do 2 or 3 sets of those. Make sure you do each side, and then you can move on to the next exercise. The final exercise we're going to do today is the single leg bridge. Now, this exercise is brilliant because it actually helps you control against unwanted hip rotation. So if you're trying to protect yourself from falling into hip rotation, you need the opposite side of your hip working well to limit it. So even though it doesn't involve a lot of rotation in the movement itself, it protects against forces we don't want on the hip and the knee. So here's how the exercise works. Again, you just need your bed. You're going to lie down on your back like this. We're actually going to start the movement by doing a normal bridge, which looks something like this. You're going to lie with your head rested either on the bed or the pillow, bend your knees up about halfway. And the first thing we're going to do is just close that space down between your lower back and the bed. Put your hands down by your sides. We're going to push mostly through your heels, and we're going to lift your bottom up in the air just until your knees are in line with your shoulders. You squeeze your bottom at the top. Now, the next thing we're going to do, and this is where the rotation aspect kicks in, keep your pelvis perfectly level and lift one of your feet up in the air without letting your pelvis drop. Now, you'll instantly feel this side kick in like crazy to stop you from doing that, okay? So you want to keep yourself there probably for 3 seconds, then put your foot down, maintain the bridge, and then straighten the other leg. And now it's this side having to kick in and work like crazy to stop you from doing that, okay? So you're going to keep yourself in that same position, hold for 3 seconds, pop the foot down, and then slowly lower it down to the floor. So that's quite a tough exercise. You've just held an isometric for 3 seconds on one, 3 seconds on the other, 6 total. So I'd recommend just doing 5 of those in a row. Let's do it one more time. So close the space down, push up mostly through the heels, just until you get to parallel. Straighten that right leg out. Hold 1, 2, 3. Put it down. Don't let the pelvis drop at all. Lift the other leg. Hold 1, 2, 3, put the foot down, and then lower the bridge down. And as I said, 5 in a row, repeat 3 sets total with about a minute's rest in between, and you've just done a fantastic workout to improve both the mobility and strength of your hip rotators. Drop a comment below if you enjoyed this, and I'll make more just like it, and I'll see you on the next video.